It's over for Joe Biden, if so. And of course, an Operation Chaos in 2020 would seem to encourage people in an open primary to vote for the craziest candidate. You don't think Bernie's crazy? Oh, did you see him on 60 Minutes last night? We got plenty of audio. But first, I want to introduce you to somebody who is behind this Operation Chaos 2020. Portions of our show are brought to you by Created Equal, Clarence Thomas, in his own words. Chris Sullivan is chairman of the Conservative Defense Fund, based in Greenville. And as I understand it, Operation Chaos 2020 has a twofold purpose. Let's welcome on our guest line Chris Sullivan. Chris, thank you so much for joining us here on the Mike Gallagher Show. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here, and thank you for all you do for keeping the public informed.
Well, you too, because what you're doing right now has got a lot of people talking in the upstate and beyond. And I've been looking at your site. It's OperationChaos2020.com. You guys have a kind of a twofold purpose. Lay out for me, Chris, why you guys at the Conservative Defense Fund came up with Operation Chaos 2020.
Well, our primary purpose, our initial purpose is to highlight the fact that Democrats are swinging over, crossing over, and voting in Republican primaries. South Carolina is, of course, a majority Republican state, and because of the federal rules, the legislature is required to draw districts that maximize black voting potential. So the result is you end up with legislative districts that are either decidedly Democrat, decidedly Republican.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times the Democrats don't have a primary. They don't have anybody to vote for in their district, so they come over and vote for the most liberal Republican they can find. So we're trying to get primaries closed in South Carolina, so Republicans pick Republican nominees and Democrats pick Democrat nominees.
As it should be.
And,
as it should be.
As it should
Yep,
be.
you bet.
Exactly.
Yep. And the second part, of course, is to find the craziest Democrat that Trump will be able to steamroll over. And Chris, I'm with you guys. I mean, come on, it's Bernie. You gotta, since it's an open primary in South Carolina, if you're a Republican and you want Trump for 4 more years, I think you go vote for Bernie Sanders.
Well, the Democrats themselves are so scared of Bernie that they stole it from him 4 years ago, and I think they're gearing up to steer it from him again. So, if we can add to their chaos, then so be it.
I mean, honestly, Chris, if Bernie were to win South Carolina, and I think I see a poll last night that shows Bernie only 4 or 5 points behind Biden?
Oh, it's a very tight race in South Carolina.
Wow. So this could make the difference. Are you getting traction statewide?
Oh, yeah. We've gotten a tremendous amount of interest in it. And of course, one thing it's been a little bit surprising is how many even Republican activists are surprised that they can legally vote in the
They
Democratic
didn't even
Party.
realize
They're
it.
like, wait, they didn't even know it.
Wow. And it's a problem because I don't like I've never liked this whole crossover open primary system. If you're a registered Republican, you vote for the Republicans, because you're right. When you pointed out, when you point out what Democrats do, that's why we get a bunch of rhinos, and that's why we get a bunch of weak-kneed, real, moderate Republicans who refuse to represent their constituency.
That's exactly right. You've hit the nail on the head.
Okay. All right. OperationChaos2020.com. Go to that site, and first of all, you got to register. You got to make sure you're registered. You dot all the I's, cross all the T's, but you can cross over and vote for Bernie Sanders if you live in South Carolina. And as Chris Sullivan says, you're going to do 2 things. You're going to put a spotlight on how they need to close the primary in South Carolina, and second of all, man, Chris, can you imagine Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders on a debate stage?
Oh, that would be a battle for the ages. Let me tell you, that would be a debate.
Yeah, but it would be a debate. But I'm afraid it would be real one-sided, because it can't be hard for Trump to blow up what a radical far-left extremist socialist looks like. I mean, this guy. He's on 60 Minutes last night, Chris. He can't even tell Anderson Cooper what the price tag is for all this free stuff he wants to give away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the economy right now is booming, and if there's anybody out there who thinks communism or socialism or whatever they want to call it today is going to make things better, they obviously have not looked around the world where this thing has been practiced.
Think again. Think again. Chris Sullivan from the Conservative Defense Fund in the upstate of South Carolina, OperationChaos2020.com. Chris, have you gotten much criticism for your efforts?
Yeah, we've gotten a little bit. People. I've got plenty of hate mail from Democrats, and people say, "Oh, well, you're cheating." Well, then, I may be opposed to the rule that allows you to advance a fumble, but if it's legal, I'm not going to just lay down on the ball in the middle of the play. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to play by the rules, and these are the rules.
I like it.
All people need to do is show up at their normal polling place on Saturday and ask for a ballot. That's all they got to do. Show photo ID, they'll get a ballot.
I never thought I'd say this, but vote Bernie. Never thought I'd ever say that. Feel like I'm having a stroke here. Bernie Sanders, holy cow! Chris Sullivan, I really appreciate you taking time at such late notice to join us here on the Mike Gallagher Show. You guys keep fighting the good fight.
Sir. Anytime, thanks.
Take care. All right, 17 minutes before the hour here in the ReliefFactor.com studios.